here, welcome to my channel. Today I want to share with you a few of the newer releases that are out there. I think I've got 5/6 for you today that I've just recently tried and thought I'd weigh in and give you my thoughts. But before I get started, if you haven't subscribed, just go ahead and hit that button, join the Weird and Wonderful family. It would be amazing to have you part of the community. And let's get into this. I'm gonna start with Mugler and their new Angel Fantasm. So this one, the head is pineapple and bergamot, the heart is coconut and tiare flower, and the base is patchouli, bourbon, vanilla, and amber. This to me is a fantastic option if you loved Angel Ice Star and you didn't get a chance to purchase that one. This one is pretty close to as good, if not better. I found the longevity to be on this one definitely better than Angel Ice Star. I get that pineapple just in the opening, but then what I really notice is the coconut. And the coconut comes across just absolutely beautiful. A slight hint of the tiare flower, but more so the coconut than anything. It's absolutely gorgeous. As far as longevity, this was definitely really excellent. So longevity, projection was great on it, and I really enjoyed it. This would be one of the angels that I would be interested in getting. It doesn't smell so angel-esque. Like Angel, the original, is not my vibe. I don't mind EDT, but the patchouli in it, everything to do with Angel, kind of I have a hard time with. However, I have loved Angel Ice Star, and this to me is another one that's just absolutely fantastic. You have to sniff it. Even if you're not an Angel fan, you need to check this one out. The Angel patchouli is there, but it's pared down, and I just think it's beautiful. So it's one of those ones like, you know, the Angel Au Croisière, the ones that came out that were like that everyone was like excited about. Angel Ice Star was another one. To me, this is a stellar flanker. Definitely coconut centric. So I think summer, spring, because of that coconut in there. That said, this could be worn all year, and definitely the longevity and the projection, like the performance of it was so fantastic that it could hold its own in the cooler weather. So I just think it's an amazing release. If you've tried it, weigh in and let me know what you think. I am in love with it. Now, a fragrance that bizarrely reminds me of Angel, which totally shocked me, not out of the gate, but as it dries down, totally reminded me of Angel, was Barenia by Hermes. Now, the head in this is miracle berry and bergamot. The heart is white ginger, lily, and the base is patchouli, akigala wood, and oak. This one again had really excellent projection. It had really decent longevity, and when I first smelt it, it came across to me quite woody. But as it dried down, I don't know if it was the akigala wood or the patchouli mix, it really reminded me of Angel for whatever reason. So it had excellent projection, but I got a lot of that patchouli and then some floral in there, and it was nice enough, but it reminded me too much of Angel to want to get it because it was like a little iffy for me. So I kind of liked it, but then I would be like, ugh, I was getting sick of it by the time it wore off. So it's too much for me, but it is a really interesting fragrance because it does have a little bit of a morphing. Definitely, like I said, I noticed the woodiness in the beginning and thought, oh, this is going to be kind of a woody floral, but as it dries down, I get more and more of that patchouli / akigala, which feels very Mugler. So I didn't find it unique enough. I was disappointed, frankly, and this would be one that I certainly wouldn't purchase. Whereas Angel Fantasm, definitely, it's stellar. I'm going to move on to Irresistible Very Floral. I just mentioned that recently, but I kind of wanted to go a little bit more in depth with it. So it has coconut water, black currant, and bergamot in the head. In the heart, it has rose, ylang ylang, iris, and jasmine. The base is ambrette, solar notes, amber tolide, sinfonide, I think, and cedar. Now, what I definitely got, I got some of that rose. I thought it was more rosy than it was. As it dried down on the skin, it got somehow, like in that video, it was my rose video, and I felt like it was way more rosy than it actually ended up being somehow in the end. So it was rosy to begin with, but as it moves through the wear of the fragrance, it got a lot more just floral in general, mixed with coconut, which definitely was there throughout the whole entire wear of the fragrance, and a lot of that solar feel. So it did give me a major solar, sunshiny, day at the beach feel without it being a sunscreen fragrance. So for sure solar, for sure like coconut solar was the main thing with some florals. Very nice fragrance. After wearing it, I still prefer the Velvet Rose Irresistible over this one. So I thought I was leaning towards very floral, but in the end, I definitely prefer Velvet Rose. This one is a very nice summer fragrance that I think is definitely worth checking out. I don't think I would purchase that one. I would purchase the Velvet Rose over that one because I like the black currant in the Velvet Rose Irresistible version. What about you? Again, with any of these fragrances, if you've tried them, weigh in and say what you think. It was a nice fragrance. Like none of these are fragrances that I went, ugh, they're horrible. But this is one that I would probably pass on after I gave it more time and really experienced it fully. Now, along the same kind of solar line was Gaultier Devine Le Parfum. So Devine Le Parfum. So the head notes in this one are solar notes and lily. The heart is frangipani and sea salt. Base is amber and benzoin. So the original, when I smelt it, I can't remember, I think I tried it on the skin. To me, it came across as a nice fragrance, but kind of generic. This one is the same thing. This reminded me a lot of something like an Olympia fragrance. So similar to the Paco Rabanne with that salt in there, the salty sweet. Definitely got the solar vibe from this one, but to me it was lacking a little bit in personality. So I have Olympia Aqua Légère, and that one has some ginger in it, I think some peach, something like that. So it's a little bit brighter, a little bit spicier, along with the sweet and the salt. I got a lot of the solar, I got the frangipani, I got the sea salt. So it was definitely nice. Between this one and is Irresistible Very Floral, I think I would choose Irresistible Very Floral over the Devine Le Parfum. They both had that solar quality, but I liked the coconut in Irresistible Very Floral, whereas the Devine Le Parfum, I'm getting mainly that solar with the sea salt. And to me, it lacks character compared to something like an Olympia. So if you like the salt, if you're a huge fan of sea salt, solar vibes, then it's definitely one to sniff. But if you've got Olympia, my guess is you won't feel the need for Devine Le Parfum. The other thing is that honestly, I hate that bottle. So I love a lot of the Gaultier female formed bottles. Of course, there's La Belle, there's La Belle Le Parfum, there's Classique Le Parfum, which is one of my favorites. I like a lot of the Classique versions, but this bottle with the round, really super pointy boobs, it reminds me of Madonna, Like a Virgin, like her tour where she always had those cone-shaped things. Reminds me a little bit of Austin Powers, like pew, pew, pew. And I just don't like the look. To me, it feels too dominatrix vibey. I just don't like the look of it. I don't consider it a classy looking bottle. It's very pointy. It reminds me of the 50s. You know when the bras were uber pointy? That's the vibe it gives, along with Madonna, who I find to be honestly not my favorite performer. I just find her crass. For whatever reason, she reminds me of those pointy boob things. Same thing with, what's her name? She's super popular now. She was wearing lots of cones and weird things on her boobs for a while. What was her name? Katy Perry. Like this Katy Perry look. Ugh, not my vibe. So each to his own. You know, you might love the style of the bottle. I'm not a fan. So I don't even want it on my shelf, but the smell of it just doesn't really do anything for me. Prefer Olympia and all their flankers over this one for sure. What about you? Again, please weigh in on any of these new ones. To me, this one is definitely not worth the hype. Now for me, the piece de resistance is Lancome L'Elixir. I'm in love with that fragrance. Like, I'm obsessed. I can't wait to get it. And basically, the commercial had me. I love Julia Roberts. I love kind of the look of the new bottle. I love the red juice. It, like, the presentation, the black bow, everything about it to me is just a little bit dark and sexy. The fragrance inside to me is not dark and sexy. So it has raspberry liqueur, bergamot in it. In the heart, it has violet leaf and rose. The base is leather, cacao butter, and cedar wood. What I get is kind of a liquored up raspberry violet combo. That's pretty much what it is across the board through the whole wear of the fragrance. I get this delicious raspberry liqueur, so a little bit sweeter, a little bit raspberry cordial-esque with the violet. And I am so in love with violet and iris these days. I'm in love with this. The raspberry stays the whole entire time, but it doesn't smell super sharp or artificial. I found La Vie Est Belle Intensement with that raspberry to be too much. This is by far my favorite La Vie Est Belle ever released. Like, I have to have a bottle. Like, as soon as I can, I'm getting a bottle of it because I just love it. It's pretty linear, but to me, it's just solid. Like, it's a solid, feminine, gorgeous fragrance, and it lasts a really long time on the skin, like a good 8 hours. It's not as long lasting as the original, but to me, it's a more current version. It really doesn't smell La Vie Est Belle at all. So I'm not getting the La Vie Est Belle DNA. I can see where some people would go, this just smells like its own thing. I actually think it is, but when you think about the notes that are in La Vie Est Belle, lately what it seems like they're doing is pulling out iris or pulling out violet or pulling out some sort of aspect of it and then creating a fragrance around that specific note. This is definitely created around that violet. So you have to like violet. Some people have said that it reminds them of Insolence by Guerlain. I don't think it smells like Insolence. Insolence to me is very violet heavy and quite powdery. This is more violet, candied violet with the raspberry in there. Huge fan. Like, it's right up there with Mallow for me. Mallow is more fluffy and a little bit more complex. But the raspberry violet, to me, it smells somehow wintry. It smells cold. It smells classy. It smells sophisticated. And it's just absolutely gorgeous. Now, I know I mentioned this one before, but I have to mention it again because I tried it on again. And it's another one that I think I'm going to have to get. I'm going to get L'Elixir first because I love that one more, but I also really enjoy this as kind of a deeper, sexier La Vie Est Belle. And to me, it doesn't smell La Vie Est Belle at all as well. So it's the La Vie Est Belle L'Extrait. It has frankincense, red fruits, and bergamot in the opening. The heart is iris, damask rose, and the base is oud. Now, although there's oud in there, I don't feel like it's super oudy. It comes across more like a sandalwood. So there's a bit of greenness in there, a bit of spicy feel from that wood, and then that iris is absolutely beautiful. So this is a slightly spicy iris. I just think it's absolutely beautiful. It's dark, it's sophisticated, it's elegant. It's different than what I've smelled on the market as far as designer. So L'Elixir with the violet, to me, it smells more like a designer, although both of them are smelling a little bit more nichey in my opinion. But that one is a little bit more mass appealing because it's more sweet if you like the violet. This one, to me, smells very sophisticated and really quite nichey. So I love both of them. Please weigh in if you've tried any of these fragrances. As far as what I think is worth the hype, Angel Fantasm, absolutely worth the hype. La Vie Est Belle L'Elixir, absolutely worth the hype. I know I've talked about it before, but La Vie Est Belle L'Extrait, Beautiful fragrance, totally worth the hype. The ones that I don't think are worth the hype are the Hermes Barénia. Not really a fan. Irresistible, very floral. I know I said that I loved it, but on like, I went back and tried it again. I'm like, it's nice. It could be worth the hype if that's your vibe. It wasn't really for me. And then, of course, Gaultier Devine Le Parfum, totally not worth the hype for me. So I guess the very floral, irresistible, very floral would be like on the fence. Could go either way. It's a solid release, but Devine Le Parfum, definitely not a fan. And the Barenia, not a fan. It smells somehow too much like Angel for me. So those are my thoughts. Please weigh in. Tell me what you think. Overall, it's fun going on adventures and trying these different fragrances. I need to do more of it. I seemingly haven't gone out a whole lot lately, so I'm getting more into the groove of things, back into the fall. So stay tuned for more releases coming soon. And other than that, have an amazing week, and we'll talk to you soon.